Hi, my beautiful friends. My name is Nicole Schwarz, and this is Ginger Bayley, and we are going to be your mediums today for the Channeling Eric session. And we are going to be doing life reviews. So, this is going to be a very interesting topic. Ginger came up with it, and I'm so excited for it.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Eric brought it up and yeah, he's always coming up with some good ideas. So it ought to be interesting. I know I had a lot of questions when I first heard about life reviews. So
Right.
yeah.
Same
Yeah.
here. It's really interesting. It's really
Yeah.
everyone, especially everybody, who we channel, they all have a different life review.
Right. 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 Absolutely.
But before
Absolutely.
we start, we're wearing the same shirt.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. We didn't plan this. We didn't plan it
Did
again.
not.
Nope, didn't plan it.
So funny. I love it.
I know.
Eric's like, I got you guys. You guys, my cheerleaders.
Yeah.
Okay, are you ready to start? I know, you're
I'm
so
ready.
funny.
I'm ready. I'm
Okay,
ready. I just keep trying to fix my screen. It keeps popping backwards. Okay, go ahead. I'm fine.
okay. So first off the bat, what's a life review?
So a life review is when it's a summary. So it's like a summary of the most previous life that we just had. You have one after every single incarnation, okay, which are many. People have many incarnations. Um, I'm listening to him. He's telling me something. Yeah, he says that this is something that people go through to learn from the life that they just went through to get healing. Like, say, if they had a really, really tough time, to get some healing, to have understanding. He was showing me, I was trying to get what he's showing me. He showed me like a test at school.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you take a
Yeah.
test, and it's not like this is a test. I'm not saying that. And he's not saying that life is a test, but he's showing it in a way where, so you have this test that you take at school. If you miss one, if you miss some, you go back and look at them to learn how to do it. It's what teaches you how to do it. When we come here in this life, we come here to have an experience and for others to have an experience off of our actions and reactions. And
Mm-hmm.
so there are free choices though, and there's free, we have free will. So there are certain things that we do to alter our path here, he
Right.
says. And so, we have a choice if we come here to be like, say, somebody who's going to do something very mean, to hurt somebody. But it's not supposed to go to the extreme. And then the free will takes it to the extreme. So, when you see your life review, it shows like, okay, this is what I could have done. This is what I, didn't do. And it's really not to punish. It's not to say you did something wrong. I don't want to use that word because Eric says there is no wrong or right. It's all
Mm-hmm.
experience. But it's still learning through these life reviews. Oh, and he just said also, if you go through, say you're the victim or you're somebody who got hurt, he says then there's a certain type of healing that you go through. And something that life review will do is it'll pull you away from that earth experience. It kind of heals you from it
Mm-hmm.
because this place is
Yeah.
hard. This place is hard to be at, you
Yeah,
know?
he's telling me too, he's like also during, life reviews, you also feel what other people felt
Mm-hmm.
and how they felt during maybe what you did to them. Maybe you brought them joy, maybe you brought them pain. You feel everything.
Right, right. It's like you're seeing yourself through their eyes, he says, and
Right.
you're
Yeah.
feeling through their feelings of what they felt. And again, it's
He,
not punishment. It's
he's
not,
like
yeah,
binoculars,
yeah,
binoculars.
yeah. And it's really to know the whole experience. That's a good
Right.
point. He goes, it's to know the whole experience, not just one sided. It's the whole experience itself, because we don't come here just for ourselves. We come here for
Right.
others to grow from us too, and things that we do without even knowing it.
Right. Yeah,
So
he's saying it's more about like perception and
yeah,
everything's like their perception, your perception, everything.
yeah, yeah. An understanding, yeah.
Okay, for question two, when does it happen and how long are they? It
So
depends, right, on the age,
yeah,
right?
yeah, it depends. It depends on your experience, or your choices for your
Right.
experience. Like what you chose that you want to experience here. It depends also on, when somebody dies and they leave the body, they don't always just go and cross over. So they're
Right.
still here on this plane, in the earthly plane, but it's just a different frequency, of course, because they don't have the heavy body. But until you cross over, that's when it starts, is once you cross over. But something he shows me is that there are some people like that have NDEs that actually have seen parts of their life review
Right.
and experience it to get an idea of what it's like. So it's not like, okay, I crossed over, because they're not staying, but they do get it's almost like a glimpse. You get like a
It's
glimpse.
funny. It's funny you say that because I did a session with Elisa today. I channeled Mac Miller, and he actually had one of that where he felt that previous,
Right?
but he
Oh,
was
wow.
able to actually ascend quickly, and he actually had his life review right away. But I know, like you said, a lot of people don't like they're not ready to transition. They're not ready to cross over, so it's going to wait until they're ready.
Right, right. Until it's almost like they're letting go, because life review is kind of a letting go of that
Right.
experience you just had, that previous experience you just had in life, in that life.
Right. Yeah,
And
and some
so,
people
yeah,
can't,
some people aren't ready to let go. They're not
like
ready to let
haunted.
go. Right.
That's where haunted houses come from, and people
Yeah,
like that
life.
say
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
haunted, but it's just souls that don't they're not ready.
Right. They're still connected to this plane.
Yeah.
And some don't he's saying some souls, they don't do it all at once. Like, it's not like you walk in this room and you see a movie. Now, some people, there is, like Eric, he's seen like the screen, but
Right.
it also can change. Some people can, maybe I've heard people talk about looking at a table. They walk in, they see this table, and it's got like a big screen kind of connected to that. Some people are just in it. They're not, there
Right.
is no room or screen. They're just in it. So everybody's experience is different.
Right.
Nobody's is the same, just like their experience here on this planet is not the same. Um,
Yeah,
but
Eric's showing me if you don't mind. He's saying like
yeah,
imagine you're like in a grocery store and you're having that experience and the people that are around you and it's like you're going from one aisle to the next and it's like you're having like for the people that don't see it, they're like, going like that. He's showing
yeah,
me. It's like
yeah,
because the people that are usually in the grocery store with you, it's like they're part of your,
your experience.
subconscious.
Yeah,
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 it's
yeah.
crazy.
It is. Yeah. And he says that the length of them, being that there isn't linear time, it's hard. We don't have the words here to kind of explain it. But if you want to use linear time, he says everybody's is a different length. So
Right.
everybody's is a different time. Like, maybe somebody gets through it right away. Some people, it takes time to get through. It could be months, and again, I'm just using earth words. They don't have months on the other side. But he says it can take a lot of time depending on what what someone's gone through. And he just said that sometimes people may cross over and not have a life review right away, kind of like his experience, because they have a healing, like they have a certain healing. They go into a healing. It's almost like a sleep, but
Mhm.
you're aware. You're not asleep. You're conscious in a way, but it's a like a healing darkness, I want to say. Like, it's dark, but it's a calming, kind of like if you have a migraine and you turn all the lights off because it's just too much and
You
you
know
need
what
that
he's
calmness.
showing me? Yeah, I don't know what movie this is, but it's funny because he's showing me, it's like when they were in this sleeping pod and they were supposed to sleep for how many years and it would wake them up at a certain time. That's what it was. That's what it like feels like.
Right, right, right. Yeah. So when the soul
Mm-hmm.
is ready, it will go through this. It's not pushed on you. It's just that's a good word. He goes presented to you. It's
Yeah.
presented, like you start to feel it, and you see what's going on. And sometimes the soul can resist. And that's why it could take time, because the soul could like resist to it. Maybe there's some things that you're not having, an easy time going through. And I keep repeating this, that it's not punishment, it's not
Right.
fear, it's not sadness, that kind of thing. It's more like the soul. It's almost like if somebody's not ready to see something in front of them, they're not going to see it. That kind
Right.
of thing, you know? It's that way.
Yeah. He was showing, he's like, I got an offer for you.
Yeah.
But
He's
so does
British.
today he is.
Yeah.
Does everyone experience life reviews the same? You kind of touched base on that a little.
Yeah, a little bit, but yeah, no, everybody's is different. Let's see what he can give me an example or something. Yeah, just like we perceive things around us, in life different. People perceive their life reviews different, plus their lives and their experiences are different, so that's going to make it different. They're not going. And then also we talked about how you may feel it and just be walking through
Right.
it, like you relive it, or you're watching it on a screen, but you're still in it. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like you're in that movie. You're in that movie screen and you're experiencing it. But
Like
no,
you're in your own
everybody's,
movie.
yeah, in your own movie. But everybody, and then you're playing every part. He
Right.
goes, then you're playing every part. You're in a movie
Yeah.
playing every single part. That's
He showed me
weird.
even with a wig. He's like,
Yeah,
wig, you're a wig
yeah.
or woman?
Yeah, and he's like, you could be playing every single part all at the same time. He goes, let
Hmm.
that one sink in. Yeah, because of the way that the soul is, it can have these multiple views at once.
Right.
Yeah, crazy.
Crazy. So crazy. So why do we have them and how do they work?
So, something that let's see what he's saying here. Something he was showing me earlier. So when we have our experiences in each incarnation, okay, we come here to experience certain things that we pre-plan to go through. And then we have free will that gets us there. And something that he's always shown me in a way I can understand it is the things that we choose, the big things that we choose to experience. Like, say someone comes into experience losing a child, or someone comes into experience, that's part of it. And then another experience is maybe they're gonna win the lottery. I mean, like, all these different things are big things that you come into experience. And imagine those as a destination, and the freeway is the free will. The free way to get to that destination is the free will that gets you there. There's all different routes that can take you to that. So something that he shows is on these different free will situations or roads, you're experiencing things that weren't pre-planned, and things are happening to you. You're doing things, so he shows that when you're in your like life review, um these things are something that sometimes I'm trying to get it out here. Sometimes the free will that you're experiencing in this life that wasn't pre-planned is a little bit more intense to experience in your life review than it is when you were here, if that makes
Right.
sense.
Hmm.
It's because it wasn't pre-planned. Now, if you, it's almost like I know what's going to happen when I go to on my vacation. I'm going to go on my vacation and I have it all planned out. But on the way, your car breaks down, you get a flat tire,
Hmm.
you run into a stranger and learn something wonderful. All these things that weren't planned on that trip, right? So when you do your life review, sometimes those things it's almost like an added benefit to learning,
It is
you know?
because that just happened to me actually. when we flew into Arizona and we were going to the Grand Canyon, it started
Mm.
snowing. And
Oh, that's
we couldn't
crazy.
even
Yeah.
get to the Grand Canyon. So
Yeah,
we had to go out.
those
And
pictures were crazy. I was like,
it's
what?
so weird. And my dad's like, if I would have known, I wouldn't have gone. Like, and we're like, my mom's like, you can't control the weather. And it was just so bizarre in April,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
just that's something you
Yeah.
can't plan for.
Uh-uh.
But it was such a learning experience. We all grew in ways we didn't
Yeah.
even know we needed to. You know what I mean?
Right. 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 So that's what he's showing me is that, and and he also says that also why we're here with our free will and not just free will but just everything that we do, everything we say, we think, we feel, everything that
Hmm.
we set out into the universe, into the world, the things we do to people, positive or negative. It's like he shows like, and I've talked about this before because he shows us a lot. It's like a ripple effect that goes out and
Hmm.
then it comes back stronger to you.
Yeah.
So what he shows is you learn this in the life review. You learn about why, you learn the whys of things, then you get more understanding. It's really about
Yeah.
understanding. So,
Like
yeah.
learning and understanding, like, oh, that's why that had to happen to me for that to happen. I didn't know,
Right.
like, because you
Or
can't grasp it at the time.
Right, exactly. And not or, but and you say you did something. Say you walk into a store one day and you smile at somebody. They're having a really awful day or they just don't feel right, emotionally. And you smile and you just change their whole day. Then they go and the next person, I'm getting chills. The next person's
Yeah.
day gets changed because of the next person they interact with, okay?
Right.
Then the next person, and it keeps going. He's showing like these ripple effects between people too. And then he shows, or you can go in and you can yell at somebody and upset their day. And then that ripples down. And then they've upset someone else, upset someone else.
Hmm.
In your life review, you get to experience every ripple effect that you
Yep.
had. So, yeah,
Yeah. It's a
crazy.
deep, deep learning
Yeah, yeah.
experience.
And it's beyond more than what we probably even have here. But, and
Right.
we'll get into this later, but something he was talking about earlier is having life reviews while we're here in this life. So we'll talk about that later, though, because I think that's kind of cool.
That is cool. Can you give an example of the different ones you've seen in readings?
Yeah. So there was this one example of a reading I did, and their family member came through and they were talking about their life review. Okay. And they were talking about how at first they just thought that they were being able to look back and enjoy and experience things, right? And then they started realizing they didn't even realize it was like a life review because they probably don't
Hmm.
even have that title on the other side. That's what we call it, right?
Right, right.
So they were just talking about all the different things and stepping stones in their life that each time that they, like we were just talking about, each time they did something kind, thought something kind, said something kind, how it would, and this was pretty cool because it shows like a whole turnaround coming back,
Hmm.
how they were experiencing it from each person that touched. They were
Hmm.
experiencing it from their eyes, and it was all one time again, like just all at once, and which is really hard for me to comprehend because
Right,
we separate things. That's just how we are as humans.
right.
But then they show the family member next to them that was next to them on the other side, how it brought that person to their life, like just how different things are moved.
Connected. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's crazy.
maneuvered and connected, and in it bringing their loved one into their life. So they were showing like through growing up, and and I think this is one of the other things that we're going to talk about later. One of the other questions, but something that I'm getting right now is he's talking about how um, there are when there's different things that you go through growing up, I mean, I don't want to say growing up as a child, there's different things that you're absorbing and taking in, and what happens is it's almost like it's building you piece by piece, right? It's
Hmm.
building you, but it's also getting you on that track of where you're supposed to go for all the individual things you're supposed to deal with. So sometimes it may seem like, as you're starting out in life, and this is really for the really younger teenagers or young adults, this is a big one because that's one of the toughest times of transition, in this experience, this life experience here. Erik says, there are so many things that you go through in that time that are going to create who you are as an adult. And they're also going to get you to the places that you need to be. So don't look at it as things not working. You have to have things kind of falling apart and things
Right.
not working out to know yourself, to
Right.
know what you like, to know what you enjoy, just to find out who you are. And everybody goes through it, even though you think they don't. So he doesn't want to just make it about that age group, but he's saying that's a big one for the fact of the ripple, like the ripples and the connections. And it brings the people into your life that's supposed to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Or even as a child having where you get, like say you have an abusive childhood, you know what I mean? It's going to take you in a direction that you need to go. So that's why it's so important too, not to be victim of it, not to have that victim mentality or be victim of it, because you can halt the lessons and things that you're supposed to learn. I don't really want to say like it's lessons, but it's also experiences, right?
Mm-hmm.
That you're supposed to learn, and the others that are connected to you, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So there was something else, but I totally lost it. I was trying to go down another direction and then I got off on that track. But yeah, that's what I do.
Hate that when
ADD,
that happens.
ADD, squirrel.
I know.
Squirrel. Or my mind's like an etch a sketch. If I move it too fast, it just erases the whole
Yeah,
thought.
seriously though.
If everybody knows what an etch a sketch is, I'm an old lady.
Oh my gosh, they have to know. Come on. So do we have do ETs or galactic neighbors and interdimensional beings have life reviews too?
Yeah, I love this one. When he was talking about this one, he was telling me that, and I had another client too, to speak of experiences that was talking about this, and this is what made Erik like say, you need to talk about this. So when we're on the other side, when we're in our true form in spirit, we are energy. We don't have a title. We're just energy. We just are an intelligence and all perfect and all knowing energy. And so you're not, and this is how he shows me. So if people like, if some think this isn't the way it is, this is just what he's showing me. Okay. We're not one certain thing. We're not just human. We're not just alien. We're not just Octurian. We're not just,
Right.
gray alien. We're all of it. We're
Mm-hmm.
all of it. We're not just one of it. And so, but we don't have a title. So, you know what I mean? It's like you're just that. So when you go into all these other experiences, you still pre-plan them, you know, besides earth isn't the only incarnation we do that. You still plan them, you still go through things, you still experience positive and negative experiences. So yes, they all do. They all have yeah, he's going it's like having if you look at every life you ever had, which you couldn't do from this point of view because our minds are just not, open enough. We're too
Right.
blocked by,
Closed off.
yeah, we're too closed off to understand it. But he says it's like, just think of all the Akashic records, all of those, like it's like the books, opening up these books and
And he's showing me like
yeah, yeah,
like how big it
yeah.
is. It's like
Right,
wow.
right. It's beyond like a comprehension of the human mind.
Right.
So you have, and I'm not sure if this even has to do with the life review, but he's talking about how you have all these different experiences and different types of planets in existence,
Mm-hmm.
beings, different bodies, different type of energetic usage, I guess, if you could
Right.
call it that. Like, some people have where they can actually probably fly on a planet, or they can, disappear,
Right.
just
Right.
different things that you experience, are all so many things that you would grow from, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then he just gives me, this is probably going to sound stupid, but he's showing me like a little kid, like on another planet, trying to learn how to do his disappearing. Like, this is something he's got to learn. Just like you got to learn how to drive a car here. Like, I got to learn how to disappear there. So there's things that we go through that we struggle with, I think, is the bottom line in every single planet that we're on.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just like a very busy way to explain it.
That's so funny you say that because he showed me a different image, but it was the same concept of like you don't have an invisible cloak like you did in Harry Potter, but
Yeah.
you have to do it yourself. But that was so weird that you said that because he showed me like that picture.
Yeah.
Okay, it's
Yeah.
so funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but we kind of discussed our life reviews for punishment or judgment.
No, and a lot of people have fear, he says, of dying because of this. You know,
Yeah,
a lot of people have fear of death because they think that there's going to be a, a judgment, or someone looking down on you and saying, you
right.
know what, you shouldn't have done that. Um, and some people, he says, go ahead, what did you do? What?
No, he's like showing me is like there's no like in the movies they show you like oh you die oh you here's the gate all right next line up nope you're
Yeah.
not coming in he's
Yeah,
like
the
this is
checking the
not like
book,
that
checking the
yeah
book if you're on the list. Yeah, yeah, I can see it. Yeah. Yeah, he's saying, but what he was saying too was that there are people that really want people to be punished. Okay, so it's both ways. He says there's people out there that have been hurt badly, or they see others hurt badly,
hmm
and they want to believe that there's some kind of punishment at the end of all of this. But that's not the way a person learns, really, with judgment. Um, and anger, or those lower negative,
right right yeah
emotions. Even with a child, when you're teaching a child, it's better to redirect or explain the right way
right
of things. And they learn better that way.
hmm
So when it comes to dying, there's nothing to be afraid of. It's natural. You've done it a billion times, he says.
hmm
So just know that the life reviews are not for punishment. They're not for judgment. They're for you only. And they're for you to grow from, you know, grow. And because remember, you chose the experiences you're going to go through for a reason. And it's
right
almost like checking the boxes, right? You're
hmm
going through life review, like, okay, I experienced that. I experienced that. Oh, I probably could have like done, maybe I want to do that again, so it
hmm
kind of like let you know if you want to do it again, if you want to continue it, you get to see
right right
the growth that you got from that experience. Do I want to continue to do that more? That kind
right exactly and so basically they're for healing and closure as well
right, right, right. And
so
letting go. Some people, he says, has a hard time letting go of earthly experience. So
right
there are people. Oh, that's a good point. He says there's some people that when they die, that have addictions. He says they still kind of are attached to that addiction a little bit. Like, you don't have the
yeah
physical effects, but you have the emotional effect of it. So life reviews clear that. It's like a clearing in a way.
yes 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 for sure so is there any lessons and growth that come from reflecting from one's life? Like how,
Yeah, so this is the thing he was talking about too, about doing life reviews while you're here.
yeah, how
Think
he's,
about that. If you meditate, you can journal,
hmm
um, doing life reviews instead of beating yourself up, he says, for things you've done, because we've all done it. We all do it. We all look back like,
right,
why did I do that?
yeah,
Don't, instead of doing that, he says, learn from it. See what is the
right,
lesson, or things that come your way, that you're having to deal with in the moment. He
Like
says,
triggers, like
yeah, things
why
that,
is
yeah,
something
why?
triggering you?
Right, right. And he says, try to find understanding in things. If you
Hmm.
look for understanding in the things that you experience every day, okay, and understanding in why you're feeling a certain way. And that doesn't mean you have to sit and analyze every single moment of your
Right,
life, but the important things that are stopping you from growing, he says.
right.
And then also acknowledging, that's a good point. He goes, don't just focus on those things that maybe are stopping you, acknowledge those things that push you forward.
Yeah,
Acknowledge the things, because sometimes the things that are good, if you want to use the word good, things that are positive around you, because sometimes we get so engrossed in the things that are going wrong, we miss the things that come from that, the good
right.
that comes from it, or the positive that comes from it, he says. So journal, meditate, just reflect, do a lot of reflecting on things
Mhm.
that might be holding you back.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's saying gratitude changes all. Like he said, if you can, when you go to the store, see if somebody like why are you being judgmental about that person right there? What is it about that person that why do you have to pick them apart?
Okay.
Like what is it about that? And
Yeah.
then you have to go and look on the inside, what is it about yourself?
Right. It's mostly projecting. Yeah.
Hmm.
Usually is projecting. Now, there are times that you might be tuning in psychically to them because
Right.
everybody has that intuitiveness. But if it causes you to feel a negativeness in a way where you want to lash out at somebody,
Right,
he's like
right.
lashing out, he just made this like lash out at somebody the way he did that.
Yeah.
um then you'll know it's a judgment on someone over you just feeling what they feel, because you can feel something someone else is
Hmm.
feeling and not so much let it get to you, right? It's like,
Yeah.
oh, you start to notice like, oh, that person feels sad, or
Yeah.
maybe they're not happy today, or maybe they're just having a great day. There are people that
Yeah.
get mad at those that are happy when they're not, so that's
Right.
a good point of projecting.
Yeah, that is. And then Eric's so funny. He's just like, and then they just want to battle.
Well, misery loves company is that saying,
Hmm.
right? But you can really make a change in somebody's life just by trying to, he
Be
says, if you
kind.
have a, yeah, be kind. If you're having a down day, it's not always easy to be that way. But,
Hmm.
the best thing you can do is put a smile on your face when you don't feel like smiling, and that'll lift your vibration in a minute, you
Hmm.
know?
Or even
So,
just go stand outside or in wherever you are, just kind of what happened. Like something I've learned and something I've told my clients, okay, why do you feel this way? What are three things that you're grateful for that's going to, uplift, why, just because you're not in a relationship right now, what do you have? You have a pet that loves you and unconditionally. You have this, a roof over your head. You have the ability to, you know, work for yourself or something, like that. And so people just focus on what they need to stop focusing on the lack more so, even if it is a
right.
growth, because
Right.
then Eric's just showing me it's like the list just keeps getting longer and longer when you do that in your life review.
Yeah. 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 And and also he says it's not about um being perfect. It's about being
Mhm.
imperfect.
Right.
And
No one's
because
perfect.
you have to know that that's how you grow. All right.
Yeah.
So just be okay with you in that moment.
Right.
And that's a good way to make sure you're self-reflecting, as in the moment, I guess. So how do you self-reflect? Because reflection is looking back,
Hmm.
he says. But in that moment, be in that moment, and focus on that moment when you're, like you said earlier, when you're feeling
Right.
something, or and also he says, or like even when you're feeling really good,
Yeah.
acknowledge it.
Like say out loud, I feel really great today, because
Yeah,
that's just going to
yeah,
keep growing, because what you
yeah,
feed your mind, even you
yeah.
can say it to yourself, what you feed your mind grows. It doesn't, you can
Right.
be like, I'm going to have an easy day. You're going to have an easy day.
Yeah,
You say you're
yeah,
going to have a
yeah,
difficult day. you're going to
Yeah.
have a lot of roadblocks.
Yeah. 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 One, a saying that I used to always tell my kids growing up is you can, like they're starting their day. Oh my God, my day. It's like you can stop and start your day over at any time. It doesn't
Right.
have to go that whole day. You know, you see if
Right.
it starts off bumpy, stop and start it over. If you have to
Mm-hmm.
do that a few times, do it. You know, it's all
Right.
a choice. It's all a choice. And
Yes.
even though there's things we came here to experience that maybe you might feel you don't have a choice, you really do, because your free will choose if it's hard or easy,
Mm-hmm.
if it lasts
It's how you
longer or
how you look
shorter.
at it.
Yeah, it's all
It's
your
like if you look at
perspective.
it on the bright side, because okay, this is in my life to show me this, this, and this, maybe to grow, to learn from, and all this, but I know it's going to get better. If you have like that mindset of always positive and always, not everything's going to be positive in your life, and we know that, but just putting it out there really does create your environment and what either positive lifts you up,
Right,
vibrationally,
right. I
or
agree. Right, right. Absolutely. And so he says, you know, bottom line to all of this, don't be afraid of a life review. Okay. It's not judgment. It is important part of your existence and your soul evolution. And it's really something you created yourself again. Like we're not, it's not put on us. We were all part of the creation and
Mhm.
create all the things that we go through here and on the other side and in every life that we go to and experience. So you know, just be you. Just
Mhm.
love your life the best
Be
you can.
authentic.
Yeah, and find your way out of those moments. And remember, when things come at you, it's for you. Okay,
Mhm.
it's not to you. Things
Always
happen for
for
you.
you.
Yeah, it's always for you. And find the understanding in it. Find the why. And if you can't, just know that there is a good reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anything else? He just loves everybody. He's like, I just
Yeah.
love y'all. I just love y'all.
He's so happy. He's like, everyone is just so kind, and he really has been more appreciative lately because a lot more people have been calling upon him and trusting him and his voice, and
Yeah,
he
and you
loves
can
that.
never bother him. Okay, some
Never.
people, he says, some people worry that they're bothering him, or
Never.
yeah, he's like, no, call me all you want. I'm there.
He
I'm
said,
there.
I'll bother you.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah,
He
exactly,
said, but
exactly. Yeah, so just live your life the way you want to live your life and be happy. And
mhm.
I know it's easier said than done because life tries to make it not easy. But remember, that's just for you. That's for you to get stronger and to get better at it. You fall off that bike. He always says this. You fall off that bike, you get right back on.
Right?
That's all it is.
He's like skin, knees, and all.
Yeah.
He goes,
I,
doesn't
oh,
matter. I'm getting back on.
I was just gonna say that too. I was gonna go skin, knees, and all. That would have
That's
been
so
funny if we
funny.
said it at the same time, right?
I know.
Skin, knees, and all. Get on there. Rub some dirt in it.
Yeah.
Suck it up, Buttercup. All right, we're getting out of hand now.
Okay.
I'm kidding. All right. Well, all right. So, make sure you subscribe,
Yes.
hit
Hit the
like.
like button. We are almost at 100,000.
Yeah, so
So
exciting. Tell your
we're
friends.
almost
Tell your
there.
friends.
All your friends and your
All your friends
family
and your
and your
family.
neighbors.
Yeah, yeah, yep. Stick a sign in your yard. Charlie and Eric, please subscribe.
At Channeling Eric Official. Subscribe.
Okay, right, right, exactly. So, and hit the notification bell. And
Yes.
love ya.
Yes.
All
Eric
right,
loves you all, and we love
love
you.
ya, love you, and love you, Nicole.
Love you,
And
Ginger.
see you later. All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye.